We are so excited, honored, thrilled today to be speaking to a true legend, not just in the Black community, but just period.
Just period.
This man is certainly on legendary status, has influenced decades of people at this point, and so it is just I'm kind of starstruck right now to even have you in front of us. But we are joined by Mr. LeVar Burton today. Thank you so much for being here. Yeah.
Thank you so much for coming. Yeah, I'm trying not to do the Donald Glover meme.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
Really, kid?
Yeah.
Just a little. Just give it a little taste. Whoa.
See, I'm very good at it. I'm good at it. I was just, I watch TV.
Wow.
But yes, thanks so much
How
for
are
coming.
you?
This is crazy.
I'm very well, and thank you all for the invitation. I'm a fan, and I'm happy to be here.
Which doesn't even...
That does not make
How
sense.
can you
How can that
not?
be a thing?
I cannot
That cannot
understand
be a thing.
this.
Really? Because
Sir.
I just got into this podcasting universe,
Mm-hmm.
and it's been important for me to find out who's who and what's what in the podcasting world. And y'all were highly recommended.
Oh, wow.
My assistant, Jerry Howard, made sure that I knew who y'all were.
Shout out to Jerry.
Thank you, Jerry.
Yeah.
Look at
My
you. Good looking out.
It's my Doug Stamper right there.
That's crazy.
Yes, he is.
Well, you've got a podcast of your own now.
I do.
LeVar Burton Reads, which I'm saying it's the podcast I should have known I needed.
Right. It is I was thinking
it just
that.
makes sense.
Yes, it is the podcast people need to listen to, and they don't realize it until they've heard it. Like, all my life, I have been waiting to hear LeVar Burton read short stories and excerpts to me. Yes.
It's just amazing. And I heard on the first episode, you called it like a reading rainbow for adults.
Yeah.
Which I thought was perfect.
Well, pretty much. I mean, not that was my intention to make a reading rainbow for adults, but I really love reading aloud. And and people have asked me about addressing an audience of adults for a long time. My wife is like, she's just worn me out over the years. When are you going to do something for adults? When are you going to do something for adults? And it was just time. The timing was right. I had my eye on the podcasting space. And the last several years, the last 5-6 years, I've really been sort of immersed in the business of Reading Rainbow. We brought it back for the digital generation. We created an app and did a Kickstarter and created a product for teachers to use in the classrooms and expanded beyond our iPad app to Android and yada, yada, yada. And I just really needed something creative, something from me that was unconnected to the business of Reading Rainbow.
Right.
And this just made sense. It was a simple idea. And from conception to production, it was just a matter of a couple of months.
Wow.
Right?
Your episode where you read from What Happens When a Man Falls from the Sky. I had purchased that book and hadn't started it yet. I have a long list of books on my list. Oh my goodness. Hearing you read the story though.
Leslie Neka Arima. Y'all
I have to pick this up.
remember this name, Leslie Neka Arima. This woman can write.
Yes.
She can write.
But what I love about the show, it is not just you just reading into a microphone. There's lots of sound design and effects that go into it.
And music.
Immersion.
Yeah. Exactly.
It really puts you in the story.
That's
it really does.
That's our intention. That's what I wanted to do. I wanted to create a storytelling experience utilizing one of the most basic modalities of storytelling there is, reading aloud.
Right. And as a nerd, I was, first of all, I have a nerd with very, very short attention span. So it's been hard for me to kind of to find a lot of other programs that I really can get into every week, because that's why I struggle with people like obsessing over this show being so long, because I'm like, how do you pay attention to something for 2 hours?
Right?
But
it's real.
Y'all can talk.
Yes, that's
we
like
really can.
I really was trying to force us to shut up, and people were like, "What the hell is wrong with you? 2 hours is fine. Give us another one." Like, so it's great to me. Like, I got right off the bat. First of all, being like reintroduced to short fiction and getting like 35 minutes right from jump into the story, and then it's like a science fiction story, so all of the effects for the voices and everything is just I felt like I could just close my eyes and I was there. So I love it like right away.
Yeah, I do too. I heard Audible ads on the show and I thought, has there ever been anything more perfect than an Audible ad on LeVar Burton Reads?
That was a pretty good fit.
So what is the process like for putting together a new episode? Do you say, hey, I really loved this book or this author and I want to talk about it?
Yeah, it's that. And I have a wonderful producer, Julia Smith, who brings me stories. And I read. I read constantly,
right?
And I love it. And some of the stories are stories that I have encountered in the past, like Ken, the first episode by Bruce McAllister.
So good.
It was a favorite short story of mine. I read a lot of science fiction. That's like my go-to body. When I'm reading for pure pleasure and enjoyment, it's generally science fiction, right? And so it's a combination of things that I bring to the table, things that Julie, my producer, brings to the table, and like I say at the beginning of every episode, the only thing these stories have in common is that I love them. And I do. And I want to read them aloud because it'll be fun for me, right? There's something in it that moves me.
I love when you switch up the voices for the characters and stuff like that. I'm just
that has to be such a blast to be able to voice all these different characters. And get these effects to do all of these different things. So it doesn't just like a lot of times I'm not even realizing I'm listening to your voice because of everything that was
There's
done.
So much going on.
So what is like the process of those like effects, and what do you think? Do you sit down with your producers and go over like how everything's going to sound?
Our sound designer is a genius, Adam Dybert, and he does his thing. Julie and I go into the studio. We do the record, an intro and an outro and the ads and the credits, and then Adam does his thing.
Wow.
Adam's there, Dwayne.
Go, Adam. Adam is Dwayne is our editor, producer, and when you hear random sound effects or if Kid Fury's voice has an effect on it in the beginning or something like that.
Dwayne.
We did not ask for that. Dwayne was like, this needs a little jazz.
I listened to him just like magic. I didn't ask for this. That's amazing. How do you choose from like all of the different books that you clearly read all the time? What makes you say this one has to go on the show?
I'm looking to create a season that has variety. I like bouncing around in genres. I want to keep the audience off balance, not knowing what's going to come next week. Finishing one episode and saying that was great. I wonder what's going to happen. I wonder what he's going to read next week. It's the juiciness of anticipation, that I'm looking for.
Even the way you use words, I'm just sitting here like, yes.
Right.
Anticipation is juicy.
So that's it's nothing more complex than that. It's just I am doing this for me.
Right.
And sharing it with everybody else.
Okay. And so first of all, I have to really quickly say that I had a personal joy when I saw and heard about this. It was via Twitter, and I just saw the cover first.
Okay.
And I'm like, okay, so just let me get it out, because like, our show is called The Read because of the way that we speak. So our reading is more so unpacking and letting you know you are incorrect.
Right.
Understood.
And so it was just great for me because it was like, yes, this is about to be a great show, because why wouldn't LeVar Burton read to people? But then also because your face on the cover looks like you're saying, I'm about to unpack and tell you that you're incorrect. So it's just like two amazing things collided for me spiritually at the first, because I was like, LeVar Burton's about to read to me, and also it looks like LeVar Burton will read you.
Yes, it does.
I was like,
that's the beauty of that photo.
Did you tweet that?
I did.
You did tweet that.
I did.
You did tweet that.
I did.
I remember that tweet.
I'm pretty sure.
I remember that tweet.
Our producer actually said tweet. Our producer was like, "Oh, so LeVar Burton. What do you guys think?" And we were like, "Yes."
Why would he want to do this trash show?
Right, like. Of course.
First question.
And I told that story. I was like, if I get to sit in front of LeVar Burton and tell him how great that was for me. And the producer Chris was like, I think he knows. Like, they told me that he saw it already. And I was like, oh God. Oh no. I wanted it to come out of my mouth.
I didn't want him to already know that about me.
Yeah. He said yes. He said yes.
Yeah. He was like, yes. He doesn't have a problem at all coming through.
Wow. Still can't believe it. Thank you for being here.